coffee in here, please?
Got it.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Oh boy, 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 oh boy. Good morning, folks. I just said oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy a lot. Anyway, it's Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood here. Jason Cruz, a young comedian from Morgan Hill, California, will be joining me today. Jason looks like he's barely out of high school. I was going to say junior high. Very baby-faced young comedian. Looking forward to it. We're very proud of one thing that we've done right here is give young comedians an opportunity to get more exposure, get some, media time under their belt. Probably the first interview ever doing. Now, I don't think this is Jason's first interview. I think he's been on other podcasts, but we have done many, many first interviews recently with young comedians. So it should be interesting to get to know Jason. I hope you'll stick around for that. There's some things coming up on the governor's podcast network. Well, for live events locally. Jones Beach, if you're not aware, on Long Island, Jones Beach is the major concert venue for the summertime here on Long Island. And the hosts on all the governor's podcast network are going to be doing some events at some shows pre-concert at the Jones Beach bandstand, which is right by the Jones Beach Amphitheater. So, and getting to meet the public, and there will be some tribute bands performing and things like that. I'll keep you informed. I just got notified about it last night. I'll find out about it more today, but I'm thinking we're going to be there. Now, my challenge is a lot of these things happen when I'm personally gigging elsewhere with the band or acoustic shows and stuff like that. But I think there are one or two dates on there that I am going to be able to make. So look forward to letting you know about that. If you're in the tri-state area, be great if you can come out. If and when I get you the dates, and I will be doing that tomorrow probably. Last night. First of all, I had a very interesting show last night. Shannon Lynn Harwood has a book out called Currency, and raises a lot of issues with what's really the problem at the core of the society and the world we live in today. Our value system, what we value, how we look at the world. Now, the book is radical in it's a speculative fiction book, but it's speculative fiction written by a shaman. Yes, a shaman. And never talked to a shaman before last night, or at least didn't know it. Now I found out that I actually could be a shaman, according to the definition I got last night. But the book raises some really, really provocative, solution-based ideas towards making the world a better place. Now, politically, that probably won't fly. There are too many obstacles, too many borders, too many politicians, too many powerful people, too much money, too much disparity in wealth to ever let some of these solutions happen. Now, obviously she wrote the book. It's got to have a vein of optimism in her body somewhere. And she did seem fairly optimistic for humanity, for the state of the world. Me, I'm more of a realist, a pessimist. A pessimist who tries to be a realist or would love to be an optimist. Can't seem to find my way there. Um, we did kind of come to an agreement on the fact that most of the problems we face have to do with the idea of nationalism, borders. We live in a world, one planet, where we divide up places and according to imaginary lines, and we're going to say these are the rules for society on this side of the line, and there's different rules for society and humanity on that side of the line. Now, my contention is, as long as we have a divided planet in such a way, war and conflict will be inevitable. And maybe that's part of the, ultimate design of the planet. It's just conflict is inevitable. Um, we've seen that as the history of humanity so far, and it doesn't seem like anything really could make that go away. But especially when we have so much nationalism, not just American nationalism either, nationalism in every small country, every large country, all over the world. We draw borders and resources and things get divided up, maybe not equitably. And this is where most of our conflict comes from. And, I've said this many times, and believe me, it's not an original thought at all. But the idea that the closer we get to contact or realization that we are not alone. This is not a unique accident, planet Earth, and the human beings or the living intelligent life, if you want to call us intelligent life, on this planet are probably, I mean, odds are we're not alone in this universe. And so if we're going to continue to think of ourselves as a divided planet, we leave ourselves vulnerable. When you talk about conflict, all we're talking about is, with different worlds, those lines just become farther apart, but they're still there. And so, united we stand, divided we fall. Uh, so I'm a globalist, and that, globalism, depending on who you talk to in this world, can be branded as evil, can be as corrupt, as weak, all sorts of um, negative descriptions on how you look at it. But I don't think humanity can survive until we realize on this planet, until we realize we're all one people, one planet, and learn to live together. Do I think that can ever happen? No, that's why I'm a pessimist. But the book is called Currency. I would strongly advise you to check out the conversation we had last night. Check out the book, currencythebook.com. Interesting stuff. So after the program, uh, I went on because I was doing the publishing, and I go back and forth to YouTube to kind of make sure the audio podcast is aligned correctly. All the information is aligned correctly with the YouTube stuff because that's where my business is, folks. And so going back and forth to YouTube, and then I published the audio podcast, and for some reason, I went back into my old bucket on YouTube and was looking at my old videos that I have on YouTube. And I came across the Being Elisa Polizzi um, playlist. Now, for those of you who don't know, and that's probably most of you, about 3.5 years ago, and this was before the pandemic and stuff, I just decided that. Well, let me tell you, Lisa Polizzi is a local singer here who is in many bands, leader of many bands, hardest working young woman ever in the history of show business. She's just like she's a real go getter, and she understands what so many people, uh, lead singers, especially of bands, don't get. It's all the work behind the scenes that goes into it. Because she puts her bands together, she runs them, she books them, she manages, all of this logistics of it. Her and her partner James, who is the sound man, light man, and everything else for it. So I decided to do a MTV style, behind the scenes, daily, weekly half hour, called Being Lisa Paluzzi. And it was a pull the curtains back on the life of a, oh, Jamie's popping in. Good morning, Jamie.
Yeah, go for it. Go, go, go.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Go live, Carl.
Huh? Who are you talking to?
Yeah, go in.
What's going on here? I'm getting attacked, getting raided.
Spammed.
Anyway, so it looks like that call man is back there too. Wow, look how handsome he looks. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, you got a pasty tan. What's going on? We thought we
I've been eating
Something's
Brazilian
broke.
fruits for 3 months.
Something's broke. Carl looks good.
Yeah.
Um,
Crashed the fucking internet with his handsome ex-Brazilian look. He looks good, man.
Yes, and he's pointing his finger at me. Now, I have to say, cause I was just talking about Lisa Parisi, but before I go back into that, I have to say, Carl and I are gonna butt heads here over John Hinckley at some point. Carl is in love with John Hinckley. I hate John Hinckley's guts, and we're gonna
listen. I'm just trying to support up and coming artists, man. I don't know about people's history.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I would support his music too if he published it under Bob Smith or Tom Baker. He's using his name to get attention for his music, and his name. The only reason people are interested in him is because he fucking killed the guy.
Another Julian Lennon.
Yeah.
But it's set now. Imagine you got all these comedians. I'll put it in the comedian realm, and then they're losing attention to a guy just because and he's not funny, but he's getting a name for himself and getting a special on Netflix and all that.
That already happens. That already happens.
Who?
Huh?
Who?
It's all subjective, man.
Well, there are plenty of people who get specials who literally just started comedy, then they get a special within 6 months.
Yeah, but not because they killed somebody. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
Listen, the real victim is Jodie Foster.
We've all had problems in our past, Let's just all I'm interested in the art. If I speak to O.J. Simpson, I just want to talk about his movies and sports.
No, you know what I would. I have a very good plan if OJ would come on my show. Yeah. Well, I'd start him off, and I was thinking about how I would do it. I would start him off by saying that he's responsible for the Kardashians' success. And when he asked what I meant, I would say, "Well, nobody heard of the Kardashians until you murdered your wife, and then Robert Kardashian became famous, and then his daughters became famous."
I think it's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Kardashian was in the news a lot, right? He was famous in his own right around the trial.
Yeah. So what do I owe the pleasure of this raid here today? You guys?
Well, we thought, first of all, I'm back in the UK, so we thought we'd come in the same time zone. I've got a nice camera for the first time in a while.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Good Wi-Fi.
UK.
Yeah, we thought it'd come in quickly and just tell everyone to go and watch The Last Rites tonight at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Who's your guess? John Hinckley? Let me guess. John Hinckley, Mark David Chapman, and...
Yeah,
we've got... Ed Kemper's going to be calling in from prison at one point.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We've got
his perspective on landscaping.
Yeah, we're going to get Jodie Foster as the moderator as well.
Is she still alive? Or did he already kill her?
No, she's still going, man. After the pinball incident, she's still alive.
Pinball?
Yeah.
I thought it was pool table. What do you mean? What pinball?
Is it a pinball machine or a pool table?
No, I think it's a pool table.
The accused is a pinball.
There we go.
Pinball?
It starts out on a pinball machine, right?
It's got to end
something to the pool table.
Listen,
as controversial it is, it's one of the hottest criminal scenes in movie history.
Yeah, of course. At the end of the day, you could argue the case she was uncomfortable on the pinball machine, and they were like, guys, give us some comfort, you know?
Yeah, the velvet of the pool table would feel much better on the back.
No, you know the hottest rape scene in a non pornographic. Well, it is borderline pornographic movie,
Go on.
but Straw Dogs, the original Straw
Oh,
Dogs.
fuck. Yeah. The Dustin, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fucking brutal, that is.
What I mean by that is obviously let's just clear it's not none of that's really hot, but the scenes themselves when you're 12 and you see
Titty.
you don't know what's going on really. You just see a tit hanging out. You're like, pause that.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the actress and the director both played them up like in the Straw Dogs movie, especially that it wasn't truly rape because at some point she loved it.
Yeah, she did, yeah. Because it was like a fucking. It was her ex-boyfriend, wasn't it? It was like they were partners, and then she came back with Dustin Hoffman from the States, and it was all
We didn't intend to bring it here. We didn't know the conversation was going here. Happened in Game of Thrones as well.
It's like Deliverance, you know. It's like Deliverance. You could see John Voight.
That's a whole different kind of rape there, Ned Beatty.
Yeah, John
Daenerys,
Voight.
Daenerys in Game of Thrones. In the book, she's 13. And she
Oh,
gets forced upon by Khal Drogo until she likes it, and then she falls in love with him.
Yeah, that's right. It's sad when he dies.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the movie-thon. Predator tonight, 6 p.m. UK time. There's no rape in Predator, but you know
there is some violence.
There is some violence.
Isn't it always 6 p.m. over there?
There is always
6 p.m. there now, right?
It's 6 p.m. at all times, and we only do things on the internet at 6 because it's only 6. We don't have any other time. Even when I was in Brazil, I had to do stuff at 2 because that's 6 here.
Yeah.
Everything's 6. And you're drinking beer already?
It's only Diet Coke.
It's only 6.
Diet Coke.
Not you, him. He's drinking. You're going to get a small penis from that. Probably. From that Coke.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely over the years, the amount of cans I've had has probably contributed to my lower sperm count, and that's why, as far as I know, there's no.
I think Diet Coke has extra penis minimizer in it. Like Coke has penis minimizer, but Diet Coke they put extra penis minimizer.
Yeah, there's no sugar in here, so whatever they put in to sweeten it probably shrinks your balls a little bit more.
They replaced the sugar with penis extra penis minimizer.
It's because only pussies drink Diet Coke, and they don't want pussies breeding, so they just think, "Fuck it, let's just cut the sperm count."
Yeah,
tenfold. That's exactly what they do.
I got a comedian on today that looks like he's just like he hasn't lost his virginity yet. He looks like he's probably just out of junior high school, middle school, whatever.
Fuck him.
Yeah, and so you know what? I know he's been at it for a couple of years. His name is Jason Cruz. He's from Midland, California, but he looks like a baby. He looks like he hasn't shaved yet.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, there's a huge portion of the sort of comedy of sort of 19, 20, 21-year-olds, and they all look like little babies that you could just pick up and give them a little kiss.
Yeah. Well, and like, how much can you? Well, I don't know. I think I was pretty funny at 19. But not professionally funny. Not like I could go on stage and do stand-up. I didn't have like material or anything at 19. But I think I was a pretty funny person at 19. Funnier than I am now. Far funnier than I am now.
Like class clown kind of behavior, which I was always that fucking idiot in school to be the funny one.
I wasn't really. I was super quiet at school.
I think you're willing to take more risks at 19 and do things that are a little...
Physically, I took more risks at 19. Like I did some, in my teenage, I used to do things like hang by one hand over a railway track with a bag of beers in the other hand, and so look at me, or jump out of windows on the first.
Jump out of windows. When I was 19, it was because my buddy Lou reminded me this the other day. We used to have. I was living in New Mexico, and we had a freight train that ran through my backyard towards Roswell. And we decided we always wanted to do like the old hop a freight train hobo
Jump
style.
On the freight train, yeah.
And we did. And we were driving up it was going through the mountains there a little bit, and it started to get fucking freezing. It was late at night. And then I was the oldest one. I was 19. Everybody else was just 18. And they were all like crybabies. It's cold. And then, so we were moving, and they wanted to jump off the train. and the train was moving like 30 miles an hour, and we jumped off into this rocky cliff, and the guy broke his arm. And
did you manage to get a train back, or do you walk?
No. Here's what we do. Well, we're out in the middle of nowhere now.
Yeah.
And the guy's got a broken arm, so we got to get him to a hospital. So we found an abandoned shed or shack, and we went in there and we lit a fire in the shack while a couple of us went out to the road, which was about a half mile away, and hitchhiked till we could get a stop. And a truck stop, a pickup truck stop. And we were like 6 of us. So we finally, now they got to come back and get us in the shack, and we go out and get in the truck and pile in the truck in the back of a pickup truck, and it's fucking freezing out, and the guy's got a broken arm, and he's bouncing in the back of a pickup truck on mountain roads, and his arm is like, he's crying like a baby, and the guys are all crying because they're cold. And we finally got to Roswell, got him to a hospital. Next day, we got fixed up. And driving back, we called this guy's mother, the guy who lived in Roswell, was going to drive us back to Portales. And driving along the road, we see fire trucks everywhere. We forgot to put the fire out, and the place burned down. And not only did it burn down, it said historical landmark, once used as a hideout by Billy the Kid or whatever.
So what's the statute of limitations on
burning? 30 years, I think. I checked this out, and it's over 40 years ago now, so it's cool.
Not too bad.
That's great. We used to fucking a local supermarket down by us. We used to like after school, we used to go there and wait for the lorries to come out, and we used to jump on the back, and then we used to get the traffic lights, and we used to jump off. But we did it once on a Sunday. It turned the lorry didn't stop or slow down on its way out because there's no traffic. Okay, so the lights were just fucking green.
Running the lights.
He just like fucking went to the car park, took the sharp corner where we usually jump off because there was no traffic. It didn't slow down, and we was like, oh my god, clinging onto the back of this fucking truck for dear life on a fucking main stretch of road.
How fast were you going?
It probably pushing 30 miles an hour before we realized this is getting fucking scary. So we just literally, we got fortunate where he did start to slow down. We bailed, we jumped off, and we landed in this like a fucking huge shrubbery, just like one by one.
You'll buy me a strawberry.
It was good times. They were the best of times. They were the worst of times.
Yeah, so physically risks for sure. When we were stupid, now the physical risks are much less now. Though sometimes it happens, but I take risks in terms of saying things though. I take risk in terms of doing or saying things that I wouldn't have done when I was younger because I was too shy. But now I'm like, I'm just going to do this.
Well, it was only 6 months ago when you took a tumbler on the back of your head, so you were taking a risk then that night somehow.
Well, the risk was getting out of bed with incredibly low blood sugar after drinking half a bottle of bourbon for the first time in years.
How was the flight? Stressful?
Long. So the first one was delayed, but it was good because I had a big wait at the second airport. So I thought that cuts a bit of time off that one to break it up. And all I did was that I ate a shitload of food, Philly cheesesteak burger and an Oreo milkshake like an animal.
Beautiful.
The second one was 11 hours. It was long, I have to say. Bits of 2.5 hours sleep, I think, in total. Didn't watch any movies. I listened to podcasts and ate. But I made friends with a Brazilian couple that were flying over. They one of their seats wouldn't go back, and I was trying to help them complain. They got a free bottle of champagne out of it, and we were drinking.
Wow. Good champagne, decent champagne.
No, just whatever they've got on there. But I said to them, make sure you get something because you've paid a lot of money, especially with their economy, and their seat won't go back for 11 hours. I'd be getting big vouchers off them and all that kind of stuff when you get home.
11 hours. Holy fuck. Yeah. I would kill myself. Oh, my God.
I'm going to find a way to get myself into business class next time, I think. There's got to be a way. The flight was full this time. They couldn't even move them anywhere. The flight was just absolutely heaving. But, yeah, food, naps, podcasts.
I'm never flying anywhere unless I go first class. I won't. I can't be like stuffed. They should just do the right thing and make every seat comfortable and enough space like first class.
Well, they used to, didn't they? But I think what happened was they got so greedy over the years. Even if they move each seat like this,
more people
across the plane, they can get an extra. They can get an extra row in at $800 a seat, right?
There was talks about one of the airlines in the UK, might be EasyJet. There was talks that they were looking to like strip away at least half of the seats. But you know, like in theme parks, you got these roller coasters and you sort of standing up and you've got like a little ledge for your ass to go on. There was talks about making short haul flights.
Up.
Yeah, so you're sort of standing up a little ledge so you can cram more people in.
I don't know. It's first class on this flight because they used to have your own little section, and now what they do, they double up so you get top to tail on each side, so you get like 2 and 2. So
I could see that like on a shuttle, like from New York to Boston, which is like a 40-minute flight or something, whatever. But not like a.
You're still in, at least in the first class, but even though I think they put more seats in, you can still at least lay down. You've still got the leg room and the screens and the better food and all that stuff. But I've also seen bunk beds where it's like you've got someone above you. I think they're planning to do on one of the airlines.
Christ.
Which that might not be as bad.
Wouldn't be terrible. That wouldn't be as bad as the cramped in a seat like this for 11 hours.
Yeah, I have to say, and these fucking pieces of shit, because you're supposed to leave your seat up when you eat and when you take off, right? And this piece of shit in front, as we're taking off, you put your seat right back, and I've got my legs are quite up against the seat anyway. And the seat comes flying back. But every time he was one of these people that couldn't sit down normally. He had to slam down and then move around a lot.
Fucking slob.
Every time he sat down, I put my hands on the back of his seat to stop it going fully back. And he was like, "Why isn't it going back?" I was like, "I don't know." Yeah.
This is why you need to be able to take a drill on the plane with a huge fucking drill bit, like ankle back, and just fucking.
But yeah, I got a little bit drunk. The steward guy was great. He gave me extra beer. They had nice Brewdog beers on there as well. He goes, "You want more?" Yeah, just keep them coming. Had a few of them, went to sleep.
So, yeah, well, last time I flew was probably 5 or 6, longer than that, even 7 or 8 years ago now. But what I noticed with that change, even though I'm a first class guy, I'll pay more. I'll pay through the nose to be comfortable. But what I noticed the difference is from when I was a kid, I would fly all the time, everywhere, and flight attendants in those days, they called them stewardesses, were hot as fuck in those days. They made you want to just fucking,
They've had to stop that.
You just want to take your dick out and fucking masturbate in front of them. That's what.
I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind one bulldog on the flight, right? I think you get fairly good looking people because you got to look at them for 11 hours. There's normally one that I fall in love with, but I don't mind one older bulldog type because they know their shit. Right, the younger pretty one. You need one that's been at it for 35 years. She's bitter, but she knows how to fix a seat, or she'll use her discretion to help people out and that kind of stuff. I think you need one of those.
Yeah,
at least. But yeah, they've changed that because of obviously you can't say you can only have attractive people working here, please.
Things were way different when I was young. You had to get dressed up to go on a flight. Nobody does that anymore. People go in like their underwear now.
Yeah, well, Joey Diaz talks about that a lot in the 80s, where it was more like it was a fun. You got up and there was a bar at the end. You could go up and down. No one cared. You can just hang out, have a cocktail.
Yeah, when the 737 first came out, they had a piano lounge up. They had a little upstairs in it, and there was a piano lounge in it. I remember going, and I was like 8 or 9 years old hanging out up there. But again, fucking hot women because they were all dressed up and dolled up.
Yeah.
9 years old, my little Woody in the piano lounge. Yeah. So, what are you guys gonna do today? Do you have guests, or it's just the two of you? Just like
no, we've got Brett Brock, and then we're gonna have. It's basically just gonna be a podcast tonight, but we're gonna be watching a movie. The rest of you can go fuck yourselves unless you want to watch it with us. We're gonna do stuff on Twitch later, another day, where we can have a watch party on there. But you can only do that on certain titles, and we just want to do Predator, so we're gonna watch it. Everyone can sync it up if they want, or later on, or if not, or it's still a podcast because we're still going to be talking. We're not just going to be sat back and watching the movie. We're just going to be talking about it and making ridiculous comments. And then directly after, it's going to be short. So as soon as the movie's finished, we'll have 5 minutes. We'll stop it. But of course, because we're psychotic, we're going to go to another stream and just be idiots and get a nipple out.
So the sound will be on for the movie while you're sitting there watching it?
No, we'll have it on for us. People can fuck off.
People can they can just fucking download it, stream it themselves. They can look where they are. We'll let people know. We'll give
Brendan tried one of those. He did it really well on the that B-Man thing, whatever the world record podcast. And he did it really well. They were sitting in like comfortable living room chairs, and there was the monitor behind them that showed the movie while they was just sitting there, and they had it on a screen in front of them. It was done well. Like it was well
in person. I think we can do something like that as well. But there are ways on Twitch we can play it. We can play it for everybody if it's from Amazon, but only the free titles. And this movie you've got to rent, so you can't have it on the Twitch party. So I think they're tweaking that rule at some point. But we'll just hang out on YouTube tonight and we'll do what we can. If it's a clusterfuck, it's a clusterfuck. We'll just get drunk. But yeah, 1 o'clock. We're going to do lots of them. So the next one we will be doing just on Twitch. But we'll get onto that maybe every month or something. Maybe once a month we'll do one.
Huh.
So, yeah.
You know, a guy who's a friend who's going to be coming on the show, he just opened up a club in Scarsdale, New York, and it's only seats about 30 people, and he's getting major headliners in there.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, it's so it's an intimate room to see somebody like Mark Norman.
I bet they love that as well, because it's a proper. That's a perfect crowd. 30 to 70, 75 is you can keep them so intimate.
Yeah.
And if you want to put your hand in your pocket and pay them, then you figure out the money, you figure out the deal. It's worth it. Yeah.
It's just
you can get them. I was looking at it with a friend last year. We can get comics from the TV, and that's probably what I'm going to do every few months. You can just pay them, get them in. Doing it all the time, it's a bit more complicated. There must be some ways bringing money in. Is it just tickets, or has he got to deal with a bar? Who knows?
Well, the way he's got it set up, because it's such a small thing, and I think it's pretty cool the way he's got it set up. It's a small room where the comics are, but the bar is not. Bar is only you can't walk up to the bar. All waitresses have to go around to the other part of the building and get you drinks and serve you drinks. So that's one good way of keeping the bar out of sight and using that space really well. The stage is so small that only one person could really fit on it. So I can't imagine even going comic to comic and then one guy introducing the other guy, that both would be able to fit on the same stage. And somebody like Joey Diaz would probably just about fit on the stage.
It sounds like an old school, like Lenny Bruce-esque kind of, place the gig,
Yeah, but how you make it pay, because these guys can't come cheap, because especially if they're traveling.
It depends what their ticket is. I mean, I don't know what they're charging for tickets.
I think $30 for
30 times 30, right? Yeah. So you're making 1,000, what, 1,200, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, and then not on weekends. It's like Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it could also be the bar. It depends how many drinks the bar's selling. They might pay. They might put some money towards a headliner. And how's he doing it? Is he getting one name in and then some cheaper acts?
Yeah, I don't know.
Feature, a couple of openers, a couple of local people. I don't know. If you can do it, if you get one headliner and pay him properly, you can fill the rest of the bill with much cheaper comics, and that's what I would do. But it's still good.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. And if Scarsdale was any closer, I'd be driving up there to see it already. But it's not. It's on the other side of the city, north of the city.
Was that about 4 hours? Is that something?
Probably for me, yes. Yeah. So I'm gigging like a motherfucker lately. So like you're driving all over fucking creation. It's exhausting.
Summer days.
Yeah.
It's good though, right? If you're gigging that much, it looks like you're having a nice time as well in the summer.
That beach party is going. That went well. You did one on the beach the other night, yeah.
Who?
You done a gig on the beach the other night?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that looked like a fucking sweet little gig.
Yeah, no, those beach gigs are incredible because they're gigantic venues and people. It's not like crowded, even though there's like 1,800, 2,000 people there. You're not crowded. It's weird that you have enough space that you can have 2,000 people and nobody feels crowded at all. There's plenty of space.
Is it different vibe at the beach gigs? You would think everyone would be in a slightly better mood. They're closer to the sea. You get the sunset.
But here's the thing. Now there's an area where you go in and you're paying for expensive drinks and food and all that stuff. But everywhere around, if you don't go in this one area, You can sit like out in the parking lot or
Bring
on the
their own
beach
booze.
behind the stage or all over the beach and bring your own coolers and stuff. And so we get a lot of people who are doing that, you know, cheaping out. But I would do the same thing. Like, you could either here's the choice: you want to pay $18 for a Corona, or you want to bring 2 cases of Corona for the same $18.
Yeah, people do it here, even at major festivals. If you live near the festival, like we got the Isle of Wight festival. My friend, she used to live a mile away, so she'd go in her garden though, in her backyard, and just with her own barbecue and beer, and just listen to the festival. It's a bit different, but yeah, I get surround the place if you can, get on the cheap, and as long as you get enough people through the door paying, everyone's going to get paid.
And more weed smoking now because it's legal here. More weed. Yeah. It's like right out in the open. I smoked a joint on stage for the last song the other night, and nobody even noticed because that's how much smoke.
I did hear there's a weed van in Brooklyn. It's just some teenagers in a van that says weed van on the side.
Oh yeah.
By weeds.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to figure out what's legal and what's not. But apparently there was police cars opposite and they weren't doing anything. So just
the locals don't enforce shit. The only problem with right now we're having with actual weed stores is in the legislature in upstate New York doesn't want to grant licenses, but none of the cops are enforcing anything anymore. Like, you could be selling out of a van, no problem.
Do you think that will change though if you do when more weed stores open up and they're paying through the fucking nose for a license, like 200,000 or whatever it'd be? Do you think that then they would start clamping down because people are paying so much money for a license? You got to get rid of the kids in the van.
You have to. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, it's not fair to the business people who are fucking investing so much. I didn't even think of it. And the guy, you know, who's going to end up paying for it? Me. I'll end up paying for it on some level.
The kids in the van will still be selling weed. They'll just can't have weed van on the side of the van. They'll just be a van.
Yeah, maybe don't make it so fucking obvious. I don't know. But so before you guys came on, I was talking about Lisa Polizzi. Now, Lisa, I did a show with her 3 years ago because she's the hardest working young woman in show business, bar none. I mean, she has 4 bands she put together. She runs them all. She books them all stuff. So I was working on a show called Being Lisa Polizzi. It was like a MTV documentary series, 30-minute weekly thing. And we got shut down because of all the copyright infringements because she's doing a lot of cover stuff. Has a Janis Joplin tribute band, and Janis's people shut us down big time. But I put it out last night, and all of a sudden started getting a lot of attention. She's getting a lot of positive attention about a show that, you know, stopped being in production 3.5 years ago. But she played with us this weekend, and she sang with us Saturday night and Sunday night.
I'm on her page now. She looks pretty busy, pretty active.
Yeah, pretty. She's come a long way she's a very strange person. I mean, and I say that in a good way, and I admire her. But when she starts singing, like, she's really shy and quiet off stage, like she doesn't say a word. She gets on stage and you could swear that she's possessed, like something took over her. She's not the same. I tell Mikey all the time, any minute now her head's gonna spin around and she's gonna be like fucking Reagan from The Exorcist. She channels shit. And it's amazing spiritual transformation that happens with her. So I was talking to her a little bit about her, and we're going to show some of those clips later on because she's an incredible person, but she's the reason that we got hooked up with Kiara. When we play, especially these beach shows and stuff, often, like her or Mikey will go out with the wireless mics and get people in the audience to sing, and that's how we found Kiara. She was out passing around those mics. But I got into an argument, which I kind of wish Kiara would be here today, because I think the argument would be really good radio. Because she texted me before we played the other night, can we not have guest singers up tonight? It's like, you don't know. I said, first of all, you're forgetting where you came from. I mean, you were a guest singer. This is how you got the gig in the first place. But you got to stop being so high maintenance and was yelling at her all and stuff. But I think that would be compelling radio. That would be kind of the friction among among the band. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. You should Twitch stream your the band setup and stuff, and just leave a camera there and let you guys go. And when you're having a real fight, you can have it right there and then, just live.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of real fights. We don't even talk to each other when we're not on the gig. And but that kind of stuff, like, you know, I said to her, now we got a couple of places got canceled that her and I play, and she was like paranoid that people think we suck. It's like, you got to stop being like that. You got to stop. This is summertime. This is part of what happens. They were indoor venues. And everybody's outdoor on the beaches. Everybody wants to go to these outdoor venues that we have all over here. Nobody wants to be indoors. And the clubs were losing money. It's business, Sonny, not personal. It's like, you know what? I would cancel bands too if we're just not taking in enough money to pay the bands. But, yeah. But you don't deal with that with comedy. Never not taking in enough money to pay the comedians, because you don't fucking pay the comedians anyway. They'll fucking work for nothing. Sorry.
Exactly. After years and years, you can get like 50 quid.
Yeah.
Like
20 to 50 quid, and then that's your luck. That's your lot. You're done.
Yeah. Who was Michael Keefe told me that feature pay has not changed since 1970.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. I also heard that I think it's $20, isn't it? Or 50?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It stayed the same, but I also heard recently in the US that the clubs are even stopping the feature. They pretty much stopping the feature thing where they're developing an act on the feature level for a while until they can headline. They're pretty much stopping that. They're getting local people, or they're getting people with just some followers to go on. They just don't even have to pay them.
This would be good stuff to drill into young Jason's head tonight, because, you know, I'm thinking about I'm guessing he's 20 years old, and I could be wrong about that, but he doesn't even look 20. Just to wonder what his head is full of as far as imagining what the business is going to be like once he gets further into it.
You don't know, and some people do quite well quite early. So it's
Eddie Murphy, Freddie Prinze,
who you sucking off.
Those are the only two I can think of. That no, three of them: Eddie Murphy, Woody Allen, and Freddie Prinze. I know those are really old references.
You're talking about doing very, very well. I mean, earning money from it at least.
Oh yeah, you know, Daniel Tosh said he did very well right from the jump. He said basically he went right into making very good money at an early age. Now, he wasn't on television. I think the television show escalated him a big deal, but
there's also less comics back then as well. Now there's probably 10 times as many.
Oh yeah,
all vying for the same spots at every level.
Oh yeah. Well, tell that to Joe. Tell that to my son Joe Rogan.
I'll tell him.
Oh, you're gonna be on.
I forgot to check the poll from the episode we did. The poll was: Is Matt Napo Joe Rogan's dad? Yes, no, or pull that up, Jamie.
Joe, I am your father. I am your father.
Hey, maybe you should do it, but you can end up fighting him and then cut one of his hands off and then tell him you're his dad.
Do it. Right. I gotta go and bail. I gotta do something else before.
I've got to bail pretty soon as well. I've got a couple of hours shit to do.
Peace.
But yeah, no, all good. Jamie, I'll give you a shout in a sec. Doggy Dog, he's telling us to get the fuck out of there. No, we want to say honestly bye to your lovely people that you watch and leave you space for some guests and all that stuff.
I'm doing this for the people on the audio side. I'm just doing this for them, only for them.
So they'll never know what you're doing. So we'll tell them.
They have to come to the video and see what I just did.
Come and watch the video if you want to see the outline of his penis, because he stood up, gyrated at the camera right now in his leather rock trousers.
Hell yeah.
That's true. I think you guys killed my chat room today. Usually the chat room is filled up. Now you guys came in.
I think it must be people that hate us, because normally people that like us, but now they're like, no. Or they're so enthralled they don't want to chat anymore. Hey, chat, engage. It helps. It helps.
It does help. It does help. All right, get the fuck off my show then.
I'm going to leave the studio and we'll leave you to your show. But thanks for letting us crash.
All right. What did I want to do? What did I want to do? I wanted to play something. All right, I'm putting you guys out here. Get out. He put himself back in, that bastard. I wanted to play the Lisa clips. I would think I wanted to play. Why don't I play just a trailer from, I think it's from the first episode, from the Lisa Polizzi stuff. Let's see here. Share screen. Bobbity beebity bop bop bing bibbity bang bang boom. Here we go. Maximize this sucker and play it.
No, it looks like I'm just staring at the sky. For me, it's more of a performance thing. If I mean, like, I dabble in writing, but I don't think I would be happy just writing for people. I have to perform. I need the connection with people. Like at times where I thought about giving up. Oh, you know, my boyfriend will say, you know, you could always sing in the house like you always did. That only lasts for so long, but I need to have that connection with people. It's just a different reward that way. I mean, I love singing, you know, alone. The joy is still there, but performing is just, I can't explain it. I mean, you probably understand it. It's so different singing for people than it is just singing for yourself.
All right. Well, that was that. I hope you enjoyed that little teaser. That was a teaser from Being Lisa Polizzi. You can check out we only did 6 episodes, but you can check out all 6 of them, plus outtakes and stuff like that on Minddog TV under the playlist Being Lisa Polizzi. I think I shared it on my Facebook today. I shared it somewhere. Check that out. What's going on here? Oh no, leave me alone with that. I'm getting private messages from weird people. Anyway, show is brought to you today by Daily High Club. Daily High Club, that is what it sounds like for stoners. Stoners, are you a stoner? Well, I got a deal for you. The Daily High Club is a subscription-based, but you can buy just individual items as well. Subscription-based box. They have a box of goodies for stoners like you that will come once a month with things like vape pens and bongs and lighters, accessories, dab kits, all that kind of stuff, papers, unique papers, flavored papers, all kinds of goodies like that. Daily High Club has over 15,000 subscribers right now. It's the premier stoner subscription site on the web, dailyhighclub.com. Use the promo code MINDDOG, MINDDOG, when signing up. They collaborate with lots of people like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, and other famous stoners. And they have some specialized products that come that they build or create in conjunction with those famous collaborators. So something you might want to check out. dailyhighclub.com. We're also brought to you by TrueFire, and I'm going to play you a little bit of the TrueFire commercial while I go get some refreshed coffee. And I hope you'll stick with me, and I'll see you on the other side of the commercial. If I can just hit it. Here you go. TrueFire. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Our learning tools and massive library of video lessons will ignite your technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing chops. TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz, from Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists. You'll have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, fingerstyle, and acoustic guitar educators. Using our desktop and mobile apps, You'll work with TrueFire's multi-angle video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere. Integrated learning tools such as video synced tab and notation, slow-mo, looping, practice jam tracks, and many more handy controls accelerate your learning experience. TrueFire style-specific learning paths guide you every step of the way. Use our assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow our lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan. Progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, student forums, TrueFire's Riff magazine, premium jam tracks, and much, much more. With thousands of 5-star ratings and reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform. Grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Sign up free for an all-access trial today.
Some of that language, invite musicality. I don't know what the fuck that means. But TrueFire is a great way to to learn guitar. They also teach other instruments over there. You might want to check them out. TrueFire.com. Link is in the description. So yesterday I said I was going to try not to get into social media arguments anymore. I think I've said that since I was first on MySpace, whenever that was, 2 million years ago or something. But it can't seem to help myself. Now I'm not feeding it. Once I just put out a tweet or a post or something like that, and people want to argue with that. I'm not giving back into it. I'm not prolonging it. I'm not giving back and forth. But I'm still saying stuff that pisses people off or make people feel like they need to argue with me. Yesterday, it was about Biden's big announcement about getting the top Al-Qaeda guy. Now, on my take on this, I don't fucking, nobody is going to shed a tear or mourn the loss. Good riddance. They got the guy, but they killed a sheep fucking terrorist. That's all. And he's one of the plotters of 9/11. Yeah, was he sitting in with Bush and Cheney when they came up with it? All right, that's a whole conspiratorial thing. I don't need to go down there. But how do you know he was one of the planners? Who told you that? The same people that killed him. That being said, let's say he is one of the architects of 9/11, 21 years ago. He's just going to be replaced by the next guy, and you're not any safer than you were today. So all the it's show business, and the television show is what I was complaining about. A lot of people just misinterpret that, but I got, all right, television wasn't a thing in the 1940s, but when the Soviets found what they thought was Hitler, they didn't feel a need to go big television broadcast on all the networks, because they weren't none, but radio even. We got him. We're taking credit for getting the bad guy. And I thought, what about the analogy between Pearl Harbor and 9/11? If I were a 30-year-old, 40-year-old man, and they came back and said, we finally got the guy who plotted Pearl Harbor, would I give a fuck 20 years, 30 years later, 40 years later, whatever it is? So this is 21 years after 9/11. There are kids who were born, went to school, went to college, and graduated since then. 9/11, how long are we going to hold on to that as the sacred moment in time? And we still don't know what really happened. All that aside, the television show is not necessary. You could put out a press release saying, we got the head guy in Al-Qaeda. He's going to be replaced by noon today. watch on the wrong hand. By noon today, and basically things will go on as normal. Now, do you feel any safer today than you were 2 days ago? Because if you do, you're fooling yourself. The threat of terrorism is always going to be there. Just because you get one guy, that doesn't stop the issue. The issue is what is making people hate America so much that they want to terrorize us. I mean, that's what they want to do, terrorize us. Why? As long as we don't address that, you can keep getting the top guy forever, and they'll be replaced. It's like a warehouse. They just roll out the next one. Okay, got him. Put the next guy in. And putting on a television show celebrating how we got the top guy just strengthens their resolve to have another top guy in the strike again. It's just ridiculous. But it's about selling you something. It's about selling you Joe Biden, whose numbers are fucking in the tank because nobody feels like he's doing anything for them, and he needs something to boost his numbers. Well, let's get on television and say we got the top guy. How do you even know they got him? How do you even know that? Just because they say it? It's just a whole fucking show, folks. And everybody who's falling for it, I've seen fucking Trump supporters standing up and applauding. Like, you realize that this is just a show to sell you Joe Biden? Come on. And if Trump did it, I'd say the same thing. Now, if you go back just a couple of years, Trump was taking credit for completely eliminating Al-Qaeda. They don't exist anymore. Well, was that a lie? Of course it was a lie. But Trump isn't the only one. Obama also made the same statements. And Bush, mission accomplished. We've seen 20 years now and 4 presidents, more than 20 years, and 4 presidents taking credit for ending terrorism, ending Al-Qaeda. And it's still there. It's always going to be there unless we figure out what the fuck we are doing to create such hatred for America. And it all comes down to what I was talking about before, from what I was talking about last night's program, about globalism and the problems we face as humanity, nationalism, and the things that divide us as a world. I don't want to get on a soapbox about that. Read the book, Currency. But it's just true. I mean, these things we're always going to have a world full of conflict as long as we divide things by imaginary lines and haves and have-nots. And I was thinking about the wealth disparity last night because we have in the entertainment business here. And you know what? I don't go to bed hungry at night. Thank God I have everything I need. But there's a huge disparity between, and it's apparent here in the summertime because we get influx of billionaires and multi-millionaires. Between those people and people who are just working day to day, week to week, paycheck to paycheck. And then you see people who have so much money that they literally don't know what to do with, but they're not going to part ways with it. And I saw a guy who was definitely, if not a billionaire, a multi-millionaire, haggling over price about a car he was buying his daughter. And I thought, well, there you go. This guy, he's got billions. He's haggling over nickels and dimes on a new car for his daughter. That's how you get to be that way. I guess money has to be your top priority. More stuff, more, and hold on to every last penny if you can. So see that I would not be like that. If I were a billionaire, and this is why I will never be a billionaire, I just say, yeah, she wants the car, get it. Here's the money. I don't even care what the fucking price is. haggling over nickels and dimes when you got billions. And meanwhile, there are people starving. Also, and I've talked about this, and I don't want to be too much of a fucking downer on this shit, but, and I am Joe Rogan's father, by the way. The homelessness stuff, I think it comes down to the same, really, the issue that, I just talked about with terrorism. We're looking at the end result rather than the cause. So when we see homeless people in America, especially, we look at it and we tend to be judgmental. My guest Jason should be here by now. He's probably sleeping, and he's in California. But when we look at it, I'll get back to him in a second. I'm all over the map here. When we look at the problem of homelessness, a lot of people resent the homeless, the people who are on the streets, the people who are destitute, resent them for being that way. That's fucking bizarre. Think like they want to be there. They want to be destitute. Oh, how dare they fucking shit in my streets and make my streets look trashy, these homeless people. They're the problem. No, the society that creates a situation where people find themselves living on the street in massive numbers, that's the problem. Be mad at society for creating that problem, not the individuals who are destitute and need help. But we see so many, and I know I'm going to come back to the Joe Rogan thing, him and Tom Segura. I know it was a joke, dark humor. I get it. Maybe you should just shoot the homeless. But at the root of that dark joke is holding the resentment and the homeless people responsible for the problem. It's not them. They didn't create the problem. Our system created that problem, and you find them an annoyance to your way of life. Some of them are not going to be helped in our system. We have to understand that. There are some people and I've talked about my personal struggles with trying to help homeless people who Jean Valjean steal the candlesticks. That's probably an obscure restaurant. Who read Les Miserables anymore? Do they even teach that in school? But the whole idea is, redemption. And can some of these people even be helped? Maybe not. But it's not their doing that this is part of our system. It's that global system of have and have-nots. Jason's probably sleeping. I knew I should have called him last night to remind him. Let's see if I can get through to him now and say, I'm tired of these guests not showing up. Now, he gave me an okay. That was just last night at 10:07 p.m. He said, okay, going to be on the show. This is, and now, I don't know if he's even up. It's 7 a.m. where he is. And if you were 20 years old, would you be up at 7 a.m.? Hell no, not. Not. Anyway, but I am getting tired of guests not showing up. Just don't make the appointment. It's easy. It's easy. Internet is down again in Bisbee, which explains a lot. That's where everybody is. Kelso, this was from 4 minutes ago. Kelso says, Internet is down again in Bisbee, Arizona, with no estimated time for resumption of service. I expect better things from you. Sparklight Cares. I don't know who that is. Help me get to work before the U.S. economy collapses. Is the U.S. economy going to collapse? I don't know. The trading deadline is just about to pass in Major League Baseball, and not one team has shown interest in me. Can you believe that? I mean, of course, I can't hit, field, run, or even really fit into a uniform. But I would think I'd have some value, maybe as a mascot or something. Mets have done nothing to the dismay of many of my friends who are Met fans. Oh, look, Lisa's on Twitter. I did not know that. I gotta follow her. Lisa Polizzi is on Twitter. I did not know. I did not know that. Anyway, People need to respect the dog. You're right. They do need to respect the dog, but they don't. Well, I don't. Some of them are disrespectful. Some of them, especially I think in today's case with Jason, I think he's just a young man. Listen, when I was 20, if you would have tried to wake me up at this time in the morning, it's 7 o'clock in the morning where he is, I would be a very nasty young man. And young people treat sleep differently. Probably stay up late. And waking up is never an easy thing when you're 20 years old. It's, teenagers to 20, I say 25, when you start to get a grip on that whole, okay, wake me up. You can wake me up. I'll allow it. But so he's probably sleeping through it. Doesn't mean to be disrespectful. It's probably accidental disrespect, but it's disrespect nonetheless. Anyway, tomorrow I'm fairly certain that my guest will show up tomorrow, but you never know, do you? Anyway, what should I do then? In the meantime, oh, you know what I want to talk about? You know what's odd and ironic and funny in a way? In a way, we spent really, because I wrote a song about broken borders and did a video about it 20 years ago, based on conservative talk show host Lou Dobbs. Is not even around anymore. I don't think he's even on television anymore. I think he's been fired from everywhere he's gone. But he had a series he was running 20 years ago called Broken Borders. Well, actually more than 20 years ago, Bill Clinton's final years in office, he was running the stuff about how our borders, southern borders, were broken. We need to fix our borders. And I wrote a song about it from the Native American perspective, basically using Lou Dobbs' words about white people's fear about different people coming into their homeland and changing their culture and changing all the values and stuff. Take all those words and put it from the perspective of the natives who were here when the white people came here, and it fits. It fit perfectly. Maybe I'll play that at some point. But we've been talking about immigration and people who come into America illegally. Got to keep these people out. Got to keep the people out. Secure our southern border. Now, turns out that because the economy is so fucking upside down, that people who can work remotely, work from home, finding it expensive to live in the United States and work from home, are all going to Mexico City. And they've had an influx of Americans to the point where it's like they're looking at it like a quiet insurgent. They got a fucking gringo problem. These damn gringos coming down here. It's kind of funny that we spent the last 6 years since Trump came, or 7 years now, since Trump first came on the scene with his build a wall, make Mexico pay for it, keep the Mexicans out. And Mexico is now having an American problem, a gringo problem. Keep these fucking gringos out of our country. They're taking over, because you can keep your job in America as long as you have an internet connection. Go down to Mexico City, where it's extremely cheap cost of living, and work from there and make American money. It's not, first of all, it's not, if you're an American nationalist, that's not good for our economy. All the money is going down there. They're spending it locally down there, but they're getting to keep more. Beating the system. But the Mexicans don't like it. Fucking white people. Keep these fucking white people out of my fucking country. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. The irony of it, like, you couldn't make that up. But there it is. It's in black or brown and white. You could say that. Anyway, so it's very cool stuff. Very cool stuff for me. It's humor. And I love that stuff. So I don't know, just your thoughts on that. Well, we know. Yeah, I know Dean will be here tomorrow. Dean's saying he'll be here tomorrow, and so with a co-host, at least if the guest doesn't show up, we could still have some banter back and forth. Well, it's just me. Yesterday, I spent 2 hours just me talking, just me. That was not fun. Dean said he spent a year and a half there. You damn white people, get out! You white guy, get out of my country! You damn white guy. No, I think when you were there, it wasn't like what it is now, though, Dean. Because now there is an influx. I mean, they're seeing. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's enough that the entire country is concerned about it, and they're making a big deal about it. I'm going to play Broken Borders right now. This is the song I was just talking about. Again, this is the exact argument that Lou Dobbs was making about keeping brown people out of our country, from the perspective of the Native Americans who saw white people as an invasion to their land. It's called Broken Borders. It's kind of, I've been told by certain Native Americans, in poor taste or in bad respect of some of their traditions, sacred headdress and things like that. I did not consider that when I made this video. Again, it's 20 years old. Not really PC. Never been a politically correct person. So to take that into, so if you're a Native American who's offended by this in any way, please know I meant no disrespect to you or your people. I was trying to portray the absurdities of white people thinking that we own this land, and how dare people who are different than us come here. It's called Broken Borders, dearest.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free.
Visit the world's largest Indian reservation, also known as the United States of America. My biggest regret there, other than pissing off some Native Americans, my buddy Ralph, the guy who sounds like Andrew Dice Clay, I invited him out to my house to run the camera, because I was shot that all in my bedroom 20 years ago. I invited him out to my house and asked him to run the camera for me. And I told him, because I had shaved the mustache off, if you didn't notice, there's no mustache. And first time you probably see me without a mustache. But he did get, even though I edited the video and probably could have left it out, he did get some extreme close-ups of the mole. The mole that lives underneath my mustache, and it's huge. There's one shot in there where it's like the mole is dead center, and it takes up a good portion of the screen in the center. It is the focal point, at least for me. I can't look at anything other than the mole, moly, which seems to have a life of its own. Haven't heard from Jason Cruz yet. Well, I'm just going to assume he's as young as he looks. Oh, somebody's in the background. It's Carl again. Yes, Carl.
Wow. It's not the mole. It's not the mole that people are. Oh, that's brave, right? That's
you like me dancing in the. I don't know.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. It was. I haven't. Amazing. You're a brave artist and a brave man in 2022.
Yeah, and you know what? When it came out, nobody even noticed, because Lou Dobbs was on CNN at the time when he was doing that whole shtick, and he didn't have high ratings, which is why he got fired. So I came out with that and nobody even batted an eye. One guy got on me because the cinematography wasn't up to. He said, "You got to check out Richard Harris in the movie A Man Called Horse." It's like, I'm not trying to compete with feature films here. It's a fucking music video, dude. And I did it all in my bedroom.
It's only the last 6 years that there's been a real clampdown, right?
Yeah.
On that kind of thing. But yeah, it's one of the wildest things that I've seen on the internet this year. So thank you. I just had to.
Really? That's.
Well, no, it's not. I've seen some wild shit.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but you know what? I think because it occurred to me while I was doing it that I didn't even have to really change anything. I could just use the words that the white Americans were using at the time and just use those exact same words, and it all fit perfectly. You know, when they come, they're going to rape our sons and daughters, corrupt our culture, corrupt our language, all that stuff. That's all he was saying, and it basically what the white people did to the red people.
Yeah, the other has always been the target, right? It's the same. Whoever the other is, you want some kind of separation with. It's always like they're going to come and rape us and kill us.
They must have internet back in Bisbee, Arizona, because I see your greatest fan.
Thank you, Sir Tom, from such a legend of I don't know, photography. I'd say a legend of photography now. It means
Well, he's got a lot to work with. I mean, the classic culture that is in Bisbee is a great landscape to be a photographer.
It's beautiful. It's just from probably not remembering everything right, although I see a lot of Tom's pictures and it reminds me the mountains, the colors. It's a very colorful town, very
And you've been there. You've been there, right?
Yeah, I went there with my friend from Tucson about 6 years ago.
Yeah. Now I'm confused because I thought it was west of Tucson. It's east of Tucson.
We're south for a start. It's definitely south, and then I'm not sure if it may be a little bit east.
I thought it was between, because my nephew was born in Yuma, which is like right on the border of California, and I know I traveled the road between Tucson and Yuma a lot, and I thought I might have passed through it.
No, it's southeast.
Oh, southeast. Okay,
yeah. So Bisbee's about I can't remember how many miles, but it's 12 miles from the border or so of Mexico. So it's southeast.
How come you got small? You got smaller since the last time you were here a half hour
Yeah,
ago.
I couldn't figure that out because I unplugged everything. I'm moving furniture in here and moving everything around for later. So I didn't have a chair last time I was in this room. So
your audio is way better than it usually is right now, and it was
well,
before too. Today,
been in Brazil for a long time, so that's probably why. And I'm not using a mic; it's just going straight into the laptop. Tonight will be in my headphones, so we'll see what that's like. But yeah, it's probably also I'm on really good Wi-Fi, and I'm in the UK.
Now, you didn't have time to put up your little backdrop thing there.
It's still in my bag.
Moon and stars.
Still in. I haven't unpacked from Brazil, so it's still somewhere in this bag. Yeah, I'll figure something out. I'll see if I can get it up there later.
So what were you saying to me over here in the chat room? Was there some people from Mexico City, not the entire country?
No, I just went. I didn't know anything about it, so I just went to check. I was just pulling you up on your hyperbole.
Oh yeah.
But no, it's a funny point though, isn't it? To say, oh well, yeah, there's now Mexicans annoyed that you're in the country.
Keep these fucking gringos out of our country.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in reality, though, the businesses and the governments will like it because they're still spending money. They're not paying tax there, but they're rich, right? It's rich folk coming in, buying meals, getting hookers. It's all good for the local economy. But even going to the STD clinic after you've been with the hooker, you're paying for the meds as well. So bring it in. But yeah, I think people are mainly saying if you're coming in just because it's cheap, they don't like that. So
yeah.
If you actually go in there, I mean, I would say, I know I was in Brazil, it's completely different, obviously, but I did live day to day pretty Brazilian. You know, I wasn't there. I wasn't going to fucking. I'm sure there are plenty of US themed bars in Mexico City, and you know that do burgers and shit. I was doing that stuff too, but also living like a Brazilian, going to the local stores, finding the local bars sometimes, and yeah, just getting stuck in there. I think they like that more because you're actually interested in the culture rather than just going hiding away in a cheap apartment.
Yeah. Did you face any gringo backlash in Brazil at all? Like,
no, they fucking love it. They love it. There's always people. There'll always be people who look at you thinking, you know, you fucking. Because they look at all foreigners as being rich, right? So I'm not rich, but I guess relatively when I go to some parts of Brazil, I am. Which is when you got to start looking out for being shot. But for the most part, if people know, super nice people. So they for the most part, if they know that you're struggling, they'll go out their way to help you. I had it in a supermarket, and I expected this young kid to be a bit shitty with me, but he actually stood. Yeah, it was helpful. He spoke to the staff because my card wasn't going through, and he stayed with me. And I couldn't really understand him. It was quite at the beginning of the trip, but he made sure that I could get my stuff and all that. So.
Are you going to stay in where you are now for a while, or are you going to go back there? Or
I'm not going back there for a while, although I probably will at some point, and not for as long. Where I am now, well, I've chosen the place where I'm going to live in terms of the town, I think. So I'm going to start looking for a place about an hour from here. And
see, once I got a taste of that life, I could never go back to a place where they have real winters. In London, there you have real winter.
Yeah, I mean December, January, February, you can get -7, you can get 1. Snow, ice here as well, especially because where I was living before, it never really snowed, but in this area, it snows like a motherfucker. You get 2 or 3 feet.
I could never go back. Once I got a taste of paradise, I don't know, it'd be a tough.
I'll probably take a trip in our winter, and it'll be their summer then as well. So I'll probably will take a trip in December, January, or February. I don't know how long for. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff on. Like next week, I'm supposed to be in Edinburgh. I've got to organise that still. It's kind of organised. I was thinking about hopefully coming to the US at some point. So I could, on one level, not get anywhere that permanent here for a while and just get maybe another temporary place and just travel a bit, because I can go to other places, right? And as long as I can live fairly cheaply, I can stay wherever for a while. For the most part, a lot of countries allow me to stay for 3 months straight off the bat, so I could do that. So I don't know. I'm up in the air about that. I'll know more about that in the next few weeks. But yeah, you still want to come to the US in October, but I need to do some serious planning, because obviously it'll be more expensive there anyway. So if I can come, whether it be for 2 weeks or 3 or 4 or whatever it is,
I want to run away from New York before October. I'm having some.
Of course.
I'm having some issues here, but I definitely want to go to Austin in October to go to Altercation and cover that. And then Tom had mentioned, and I appreciate him mentioning this, but I think Henry Phillips would have been open to me approaching him about being on the program again. But I've been kind of putting it off, hoping to do something live with him for the program in October, and if I get there, I'm sure Henry would be open to that. Tom says, I post enough pictures of Bisbee for some fans of Stanhopes who will probably never get to actually see Bisbee in person can enjoy them. I then post enough more so that you don't need to move here. I would never move. As charming as it is, I would never move to any place. And I've lived in New Mexico and Las Cruces for a while. I never moved that close to the border because, and I know it's not real, but I still have this phobia of killer bees coming and getting me if I'm that far down south.
Killer Bisbee bees.
Killer bees. The killer bees understand where the border is, and they're just waiting over the Mexican border till Napo gets there. And once Napo gets there, they're gonna come and fucking attack. That's what I did.
I think I'd struggle. Like, I didn't realize that the altitude. I'd struggle with that longer term, and also it being it's still a desert. It gets cold, gets. I think I would still struggle as well in a place like that, sort of longer term. But it's a beautiful town. It's a beautiful town. And then Tom does a great job of the pictures. Most people would never see it.
Why did you go there?
Because I had a friend in Tucson, and I was flying out to see them anyway. And we were just talking about Arizona, and they mentioned Bisbee, and I said, Bisbee, there's a comic that lives down there. And she goes, well, I go there. She used to come down every year for the Halloween ball of Bisbee. It's at the Grand Hotel or something like that. So she goes, when you come out, we'll drive down. It's 2 hours. And that was it, just to show me around. So that was the only reason we stopped at Tombstone. Fairly, like I said before, it's fairly cool seeing all the recreation of the cowboy shit. And then at break, they pick up a big Slurpee and an iPhone in the full cowboy gear. So that was good to see as well. But yeah, it's just interesting at the time, just going there. And I went because my friend, she's now in Phoenix actually, but she said, "Oh, we'll come out and we'll drive down for the 2 hours for 2 or 3 days," and that's what we did. So yeah.
Wow. Cool. Have you been following any of Stanhope's 30 Days in a Hole?
So nothing up to date. I caught the last 20 seconds of the live one, and then I went back and watched a few. I'm like a week or so behind, I guess. It's just a time thing to sit down and watch stuff. But yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it. But I'll have another binge probably later this week.
I shared the one from this morning to my Facebook page because for a lot of my friends don't even know who Doug Stanhope is, and so that was such an unusual. It doesn't really show who he kind of he's doing a little bit of acting in it, but obviously he fell off the cigarette wagon a little bit. He's traveling or something in planes and whatever, and that could cause you to kind of want to smoke a cigarette or whatever. But he's doing a little bit of acting in it, so I posted it for some of my friends to get because they don't. I don't know why. There are comedians at his level that a lot of my friends don't even know, that have never heard of.
But he's not that famous. He's not outside of people who like comedy. He's just not. Most people don't know most comedians, right? Most people honestly don't know most comedians. There are plenty of people who don't know who Bill Burr is. There are plenty, it's weird. It's always weird to me because I follow it, but yeah.
But Stanhope was big in the UK when he did that BBC stuff,
so
right?
He got on a TV show, and that's probably how he got. It was on Charlie Brooker's. I think he's changed the name over the years, but I think it was It might have been Weekly Wipe or something. But yeah, he had a segment on there, and that's how most people became aware of him. But he still hasn't been on TV here for a long time. So unless you're a comedy fan, you're still not going to be aware of the comics. Most people don't watch comedy at all, and the ones who don't watch everyone. There are plenty of comics. I know comedians that don't know who he is.
Wow.
That's always wild.
I was thinking about his segments on the BBC because those were short, and
But you still might not have known that he was a comic. You still might not have known. I think Brooker always said US comic Stanhope.
It was like
He's just
Voice of America, right? And it was kind of like a Daily Show correspondent type of thing where he would just, and I think he had complete, it looks, you can't know without being part of it, but it looks like he had complete autonomy on that. And that gave me an idea or inspiration for what I'd want to do for this nighttime show is get some real, not Stanhope, but people who are on that level in comedy and saying, listen, if you could produce 2 minutes and name your price, you have complete autonomy to produce
do what you want. Make something funny. That's it. Yeah.
I think I could get somebody like on Brendan Walsh's. Brendan loves being creative like that. If I just said, you name your price, you tell me, I got 2 minutes. Can you fill it? Give me a price for that. I think he would be on board with something like that. And people on that level.
Yeah, why not ask? I think that's what from what I've heard about the background of that, I think that's what it was as well. And it got to the point where even Stanhope, can we do it local? Sure. Can we do it at the Bisbee airport? Sure. So I think he was sat on a sofa on the runway of the local airport, I think. Or the local airfield, I think.
Right.
And that was it was always, the segment was always, I'm Doug Stanhope and that's why I drink. And then he would do a bit or a rant for 2 or 3 minutes. It was great.
Something from that trailer park that's out there, whatever, the Shady Dell or whatever it is. But I can't imagine. It seems like to me that would be a dream gig. Listen, somebody was saying, no bullshit. You have no bosses, no censors, nobody to fuck with. You name your price and you could do whatever you want. Comedically, you've got complete creative control. Why not? Why not? You know?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea if you're going to do something a bit different as well. I'd like to do stuff like that in the future as well, you know. But yeah, I think you could get some proper comics to record something, even if just say 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever you negotiate. Go, we'll give you some money, we'll pay you, give us a little something funny.
Yeah. So I think that might work. I think that might be something. And now I'm still putting together budgets for that. Now I don't know if you caught the very beginning of the show before you and Jamie just got here. Talking Governors is having some live events and to feature the host from Gov's podcast on it. And I think I'm gonna get some stage time. I don't know what I'm going to do in front of a massive crowd that is there to see concerts at Jones Beach, which is like the biggest concert venue on. I know. So you remember by design, it's by design with Stanhope. That's unusual in itself that it would be by design to stay below the radar because.
That's why he moved it. That's why he moved out of LA, right? He just wanted to get his own core of fans that he can rely on to buy tickets once a year, or every 2 years.
It's a great design, but not everybody could make it work financially because you have to have at least some kind of foundation behind you to be able.
Well, he's an incredibly talented writer and performer, right? If you see him live and you like comedy, you should want to go and see him.
Yeah.
Not everyone does because people have taste, but you know. Enough people will because he is obviously brilliant.
Yeah. I imagine seeing him in like one of those, like the venue I mentioned before that's like a 30-seater in like the place in Scarsdale. That would be like in total different experience than like seeing him at like Sony Hall.
I'm pretty sure when I saw him in the last tour, it must have been it's in a small club, so 300-seater, I think. Maybe they put a few more seats in for it. I can't remember. I knew all the staff there though. I got a good seat. But yeah, it would have been a few hundred. But yeah, 30 to 70. That's what the I think the belly room at the Comedy Store is about 80 people, 70 to 80, and that kind of place. A low ceiling, you just dark, very intimate. That's proper comedy for me because you really are on top of it. You're on top of the comic. They're on top of you. And you really are sort of influencing each other, I think.
Yeah. You know what? It's an interesting little thing to kind of look at different kind of venues. Again, the how do you get these big names to play small places like that? The financial part of it is a difficult thing, but to me, it's fascinating to see somebody in an intimate setting like that. I had a friend who saw the Rolling Stones in a place like that.
Wow.
You know, small, I think 90-seat theater or something.
Well, bands will do it. Bands will do it here. It's normally with a radio station, right? So they'll do, like, we're doing an intimate gig for Radio X or whatever. It's one of the big sort of music stations here, and they'll do a competition or a guest list only thing, or they'll get 100 people in a room and they'll get a big artist in the room. So I'd love to go to something like that as well, even, you know, someone way below Rolling Stones. But yeah, it makes everything different, I think. And I think the performers like it as well, because especially if they've got big, you know, if you're an arena or theatre comic or a musician, then you know, I'm sure every now and then go back and do a smaller room. A lot of comics that do theatres tend to keep doing clubs anyway, because they still like working out in those rooms, even if it's a 200 or 300 seater. It's not 5,000. 300 for me is probably the best. 300 to 500 is like a really good comedy, like a decent amount of people. But the more intimate ones are something different as well, I think.
I'm looking for this video to see if I can show you what his new club looks like. Oh, this girl he's going to have there is like the hottest looking fucking female comedian I've ever seen. Now, my opinion on that is, a woman, if she's too good looking, it's hard for me to not. It's hard for me to concentrate on comedy if she's that hot.
But it's yeah.
Here, I have a video. I want to show you this small club. Now, it looks on. You know what? With the lights off, it looks bigger than it is, if that makes any sense at all. But it doesn't look it doesn't look like it.
Pictures can be very deceptive anyway. If you know, if it's good lighting and a good stage and stuff, you can look like a bigger place.
But I don't know if you could see this here. Yeah. That's not. Wait, here. This is what I want to do.
Keep it to yourself. It's their time. They're going to say things you don't like. That's okay too. We agree on that.
That's very narrow.
But you can see how small it is there. I mean,
that's beautiful. I know we got people from all over the Northeast. Who here's from New York State? Woo! Good.
Anyway.
Anyone from New York City? Keep it to yourself. It's their time. They're going to.
All right, you can end that.
Yeah, small room. It's a bit. Those rooms are a little bit not because of the size, but he's got way more people to the left and a couple to the right.
Right.
A couple in front. So
yeah, I think you only have like 10 feet in front of you, or 15 feet in front of you, which is weird. Like, so you got to play to your sides a little bit.
It's weird that the stage isn't at the end of the room, but I guess it's probably a reason I didn't see the layout. Maybe there's a bar there or something. But
the bar is all the way on the other side of the wall.
Right.
So it's a weird club, but Scarsdale
it's good though.
Scarsdale's a money town. It's upper class, upper middle class, or upper class people. So I'm not welcome in that town, of course. I look poor. I'm not welcome there. Like my neighborhood, I'm not welcome here. But unfortunately, they can't force me out just yet. They're trying. If you come here, they'll win.
I look homeless quite a lot. You know, I'm out and about. Sometimes I try and smarten myself up, but a lot of the times I look like the town I'm in now is it's got everything from multi-million-dollar pound houses to scumbags. It's got both, and everything in between. So you can go into some areas and people will be looking out the window and what's he doing down there?
Yeah. So yesterday I ran the spot for Uncle Vinny's comedy clubs in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and New Jersey, mostly New Jersey. And Uncle Vinny's is in New Jersey. But we're talking about the people that are being there. Now, Joey Diaz is sold out, and they are completely sold out. And for like 3 nights, they added a night, selling out again that night. And they don't take any kind of like waiting list if anything should open up or anything like that. That I didn't know he was that huge, that he would sell out places like overnight, like in snap of a finger, announce another night and quickly all sell out.
Yeah, he's got a big audience. He has for years. I mean, he stopped doing stand up about 2 years ago, and then has vaguely sort of stepped back into it. But I think he was convinced to get back into it a couple of months back properly. I think so. It looks like he's revving up to go out properly. I don't know if he'll ever tour on the road. I don't know what he wants to do, but he's might change the way that he does or how much he does. But yeah, people are happy to see him. He's had a good audience for a while. There's a lot.
I got to admit, I don't think I've ever. I'm just trying to remember if I've ever seen even video of him doing stand up. I've seen like on the Man Show. I've seen him doing like clips that he was included in, like the dance.
There's old clips on YouTube, and he's done a couple of specials. He's never been happy with the specials that he's done for various reasons. He was on a Degenerates compilation on Netflix where you give comics half hours, or maybe was it half hour, 20 minutes? I don't know. They were shorter sets anyway. But people like Bobby Kelly and stuff have been on them. They're legit comics. That still do hours were on them as well, and he wasn't happy with his set. I quite liked it. He did another one. There was did Stanhope do something on this? There was another organization that popped up and went away within months. I think Stanhope did one of his specials on it, and the company collapsed. I can't remember what it was called. The logo was yellowish, but he did a special on there, and that company folded. You can still find it around. But yeah, I think from what I hear about him and people that know him and see him live a lot, the best way for Diaz would be to film almost without him knowing that it's being filmed, right, and film for 4 or 5 nights and pull a special out of that, because I think when filming stand-up it's weird, especially a special, because there are cameras there.
Cameras change everything. When you know the cameras are there, it changes things.
It's a different thing. And the comics that can do it, someone like Bill Burr that can be without the cameras in a smaller venue, bigger venue, and the cameras are there, and he's just the same. It's way more impressive than people realize, because there's a different thing, especially if it's a special that you're paying for, that you've paid $150,000 for.
Yeah.
Or big companies invested in you. So now the pressure's on Netflix are paying for this. What if I bomb? You shouldn't have those sorts, but most comics tour for 20, 25 years and they don't film anything. Although now I guess you film more of your own sets, but
you got comics who have been in the game for 3 months filming specials.
Don't get me fucking started. There's one here. I can't say any names, but there's one here who thinks very highly of himself. He basically he got in the town that he always performs at, that he was on the high council of, and he run loads of nights there and creeps to him, and he sold tickets to his friends, basically begged them to buy tickets and go and see him, and he recorded a special in a pub, and I'm not going to say any more because I don't care personally, but it's just
Yeah, no.
He's releasing a special in October, and it might be brilliant, but I've seen him, and it might not be.
Yeah, you know what? The universe will take care of that. The universe will take care of the reality will take. Because I had a friend who he was 50 years old before he decided to try comedy, but he had and he still does, a huge network of friendships and family. And his first night out, first comedy performance ever, brought 500 people to a club where there were 10 other comics that he put on the bill with him, and he made it like he was the headliner, like a very first time out, and had a bunch of successful comedians. They all came out. Nobody was really there for them. They were there for the guy who was his first time out. 500 people applauding like crazy, going crazy, and the stuff was not even like borderline amateur. It was very amateur.
That's the danger then, isn't it? So but the thing is, there's so many grifts available to people now. You can probably you can't sustain an annual salary from that, but it might help you get better gigs, because if you can say, look, I sell out, this is me selling out this room of 300 people. This is another time I did it. And you do that a few times a year. There are comics that grift that way, and then they can get themselves on a little circuit, or even private gigs, the corporate gigs and stuff from that stuff, and they can sustain themselves on it. And it could help you get successful, because although I would worry that you haven't tried the material out in front of but a lot of people who go and watch comedy are idiots as well. You can probably there is certain crowds that you can just shout and swear without really trying hard, and they'll laugh. So I don't know. There are ways to grift it, but you won't get the respect of other comics in it. I don't think it's a sustainable long-term thing.
I don't think it is either. That's why I was saying the universe will take care of him, because that guy he did 2 more shows after that, and then his friends had seen him 3 times now, and they're not going to keep coming out, and they were like, okay.
Yeah, but if you've got a pandy of friends, they don't want to keep people have got lives and they want to keep helping